I was 5 years old when I realized that I wasn't like my family in looks or actions. I'd never given much thought until I was about 13. There was one thing that I always kept with me. It was a small ring that I had had since birth. It didn't quite fit with the family, much like me. It was very ornate and had a large diamond as a center. We were peasants, and one rarely found rings like that anywhere near a peasant.
Mom?
I said.
Yes, dear. Why do I have this? It doesn't make sense.
I held out the ring.
We have nothing else like it, and we could never afford something like this.
Oh, it was a gift.
Her answer was too fast, and she seemed nervous, which only made me more interested.
From who? Who would give up such a nice thing?
I don't know. Please stop asking questions.
She walked off, and I was left confused. I knew that my question would not get an answer then, so I put it back in my mind and continued on with my life. I hid the ring somewhere in my room, in a safe spot, so that it would always be there, but it wouldn't tease my curiosity. I was 18 years old when I cleaned my room only to find the beautiful diamond ring. I pulled it out and dusted it off.
Mom, I think it's time you would explain this to me. I don't want to sound cold or harsh, but I know that there's something about this you haven't told me. I could tell the day I brought it up 5 years ago.
I suppose I could, maybe. Call your father with me, please.
I called my father in, and we all sat down at the table together. My mother began talking, and she began to look sad.
So, you not want to know about that ring?
Yes, Mom, please. If you can explain this to me or tell me anything about it, please do.
16 years ago, a woman came to us. We couldn't see her face, but she was holding a bundle so carefully. She came to us and told us that we had to take care of a child for her. It seemed crazy, and we turned her down at first, but she explained that she was trying to keep the child safe from a horrible plague that was destroying Italy. We'd been hoping for a child, so we figured it might have been a sign in its way, so we took the baby in. The last thing she told us before she left was that we had to make sure the baby always had the ring with it, so that one day it could find its way back to her. So, we took you in. We raised you as our own child with the hopes that you would never wonder about that ring. And here we are. I guess we should have assumed you would figure it out.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Why would a woman just leave me with you, with nothing but a ring to find my real family?
I don't know, son, but I do think that it's time to go for you and find your real family. You know that we'll always be here for you whenever you choose to come back.
I know, Mom.
I left for Italy that day in the hopes of finding who I really was. I had no idea where to start or who to talk to, but I decided I might as well try just talking to everybody. I knew that the ring had to belong to someone of royal descent because only royalty had jewelry like this. I decided to ask people about it. The streets of Italy were filled with people both horrifying and disgusting. They were all coughing and they were all very sick. This was the plague that my parents had warned me about. I covered my mouth and continued on asking every person I could find that would or even could talk. Nobody did until I came upon an older man just sitting up against the wall.
Sir, would you mind if I asked you a question?
Oh, no, sir. I don't get to talk to people much with this plague around. Most people just hide in their houses.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if you'd tell me anything about this ring. No one seems to know anything about it, or who I could talk to.
Let me have a look. Well, sir, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time, since before the plague, actually. It's a royal ring, you see. Expensive jewelry like this is rarely found or bought anymore.
Do you know anything about the people that would own something like this?
No, sir, I wouldn't, but I do know there's a woman like that fancies herself an expert with things like these. Now, if you walk down that street there and take a right, you should find a stone home at the end of the path. It's one of a kind. I'm sure you'll know it when you get there.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I ran out for the woman's house, and it didn't take long for me to find it. He was right. It did stand out. It was made out of stone, and it stood all by itself on the side of the path. I walked to the door and knocked, not sure what to expect. A woman opened the door. She couldn't have been more than my mom's age.
Yes, dear? Someone told me you'd be the person to come to about a ring once owned by a royal family.
Well, dear, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I sure like rings. I can probably tell you something about it.
I handed her the ring, and she gasped. I heard her say in almost a whisper, "Is it?"
No, it can't be. He couldn't have found his way here this soon. But then again, this ring. No, I'm being silly. It's not possible. Then again...
She looked directly at me.
Where did you get this ring?
I've had it for as long as I can remember. Some woman left me with it years ago, and they told my parents that I needed to keep this ring with me.
It seemed like she was upset, until I saw a smile creep across her face, and it turned into a full, toothy grin.
Oh, this is wonderful!
She exclaimed as she hugged me.
I knew it. I knew if I left that ring with you, you'd find me. I knew you would be smart, just like your parents.
Wait, you knew my parents?
Yes, dear. They used to work for me, and I suppose now at this point you deserve to know where you're from and your family history. Your parents used to work for me. I was from one of the wealthier families, and this ring used to be mine. One day your parents told me they had to leave to make more money, otherwise they wouldn't be able to live. I gave them that ring and told them that they could sell it and make quite a bit of money. Your parents were so amazed by the gift that they kept it and cherished it always. Because I was so near in age to your mother, I became very close to her and your father as well. When I decided to live on my own, I had them come with me, and not 2 years later your mother was pregnant with you. Then the plague came about, and no one knew how or why. We assumed God was angry and had cursed us for something we had done. Then you were born, and your mother died after giving birth to you, but the last thing she told me was that I had to take care of you and make sure that you would always be away from the plague. I promised her I would find a safe home for you, and that very same night your father left. I think he couldn't live without his wife. I started out looking for a safe home, and I found a lovely peasant home with 2 loving people, and I decided it was far enough away that you would be safe. I left that ring with you in the hopes that you would find me someday, and here you are.
Thank you for everything. It means the world to me and more.
Now looking back, I wish I had thought of something more meaningful to say, but I was so shocked I think I could barely even speak.
I understand it if you want to go back and help your family. Just promise me that if that's what you choose, you'll come and visit me often so I know that you're always safe. Now you know where you're from, and no matter what, I'll always be here for you and your family.
Thank you again. I think it is time for me to go home. My family needs me. I promise I'll visit you often.
True to my word, twice a year I would travel out and visit her and tell her about what life was like with me, and I would help her around the house or with anything that she needed. Because of a little ring, I finally found out who I really was, and I was content with my life. I'm completely content with my life now, and I think that I will be till the day that I die.